You, the strength
All right.
of my arm, the holders of my dreams.
We are live.
Our forefathers embarked on the greatest exodus in the history of all mankind.
Let me go over to YouTube now and make sure that everything is in working order. And let the people roll in, because the show's about to start. I hope you're ready. I hope you're all seated by the seats of your pants. How does the saying go? Okay, you know what? Let's move on. Hey, how are you all doing? Peps B says hello. Dead Channel LOL said I expected Helldivers. Well, Dead Channel. I'm embarrassed to admit that my PC, unfortunately, it's getting up there in age. So I can't run Helldivers in a way that makes the game look nice. Unless it's at like 900p. But on the other hand, hey, we got this. Who needs Helldivers? We've got Halo at home. What is your actual opinion of Helldivers? Helldivers 2 is a very, very, very good game. Just unfortunately, all the times that I've gotten a chance to play it, it's been in suboptimal conditions. On my PC, I can't really run it that well. I've got a GTX 1080 Ti, which is definitely starting to show its age with modern games. And the Steam Deck, I have to run at everything turned down to low. And the game locked at 30 FPS, and the resolution so bad that it's like sometimes I don't quite know what I'm looking at. So it's not, great, but... what's this called? This game? Yeah, I guess it's a game. I guess we could call it a game. It's called Killzone, which sounds like a fake game that somebody in like Breaking Bad would be playing on the TV, Walter Jr., turn off the game and take out the trash, and then it would cut to Walter Jr. and he's playing like a fake video game, and it's called Killzone 5 or something. That's basically what this is. Resistance 3 had one of the hardest covers. Yeah, the Resistance games, it's a shame Killzone kept getting sequels, but not Resistance. Alright, guys, but welcome, everybody. The face cam is funny. What's funny about it? I'm afraid I don't know what you mean. You have a save game in progress. Do you want to continue the game in progress on level 1, Hellgast Assault? Let's select another level to play. What? Wait. Oh, hang on. I gotta restart. I gotta restart the game. How the heck could they think this could beat Halo? Well, okay, so the Halo killer thing is, like, okay, Killzone 1 was not a good game, and I think hopefully one day the internet understands that Killzone 2 was not a good game either. But Killzone 1 was kind of in an unfair situation where it was sort of like a not very well experienced Dutch development studio that kind of pumped out these like low budget, not that great war games. And they were developing 2 games at the time. One was Killzone, and then the other was some like not great Vietnam game that nobody remembers. Killzone, for some reason, Sony really latched onto and thought that this was going to be like, this was going to be the big thing. And the press was so excited at the time about the idea of like, oh my god, like Nintendo has Metroid, Metroid Prime specifically, Xbox has Halo, well now it's Sony's turn, they've got Killzone, and the developers Killzone was not supposed to be the next Halo. It was just kind of this, like, bad, mediocre shooter that everyone else elevated up to the position of being on par with Halo. So, of course, when, you know, Killzone came out and it, like, wasn't good, you know, it wasn't a good game, like, yeah, I feel bad for the devs. Other than Killzone 2's input lag, what else held the game back? You said it wasn't that great. The story, the writing, the characters, the combat, the AI, it's like... So Killzone 1 is trying to be kind of like a World War II game. That's the best way that I can describe it. It's World War II science fiction. Instead of Germany, you've got Hellghasts, which are, you know, I don't know how far into the stream we can start using the word, but, you know, the guys, they're not very nice. They did some bad stuff during World War II. They're supposed to be kind of like them, and they invade, not Earth. For some reason, the focal point of this game is not Earth. It's an Earth colony called Vecta. So immediately we're not even defending Earth. We're defending this place called Vecta, so, stakes are, you know, not that high, because no matter what happens, Earth will be fine. But the Hellghasts, they're basically like the descendants of people that were forced to... Basically like a corporation that was forced to settle on this, like, crappy mining colony that the air was inhospitable. And so for generations and generations, they've just kind of, like, been choking and suffocating, and they've kind of, like, turned their breathing masks and mining equipment into, like, badges of honor. But, now they're mad, and they want not Earth, and that's them over there. Here they come, guys. Be careful. Yeah, this game's not... It also isn't very fair to this game, because this game was developed for the PS2, and I don't know if you can see that reload animation, but that is astonishingly high quality for a PlayStation 2 game. Like, in fact, it's better than, like... I would say it's better than Halo 1's reload animations in terms of just, like, attention to detail and fluidity. But... like, the PS2 was so much less powerful than the original Xbox. There was so much less that they could do with it. And so, you know, for all of the, like, particle effects that we've got on screen, the fancy reload animations and just animations in general, like, you've got just this lack of atmosphere, these, like, vacant, empty maps where nothing is really going on, and pretty bad sound design? Yeah, so that's... yeah, there they are. Remember when you leave Captain Keyes' bridge and you take out your Magnum and then the grunts are like panicking and running around? You know, and the music's bum 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 ba da bum 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 ba da bum bum bum. Like, this is what Sony, this is what they had like to respond with. Is like, here they come, and then like 3 or 4 guys kind of like stumble over a hill. One of them kills themselves with their own grenade. Like, yeah, this Killzone 1 was a pretty bad game. But I you know, it's funny. I don't mind Killzone 1. It's like I guess it's like a child trying to draw a zebra. And it doesn't look like a zebra. Like, the child categorically failed at what they set out to do, because it is not a good-looking zebra, but it's just like, that's so fucking cute. They tried so hard, in spite of their limitations. Yeah, no music either, because on the PS2, like, I'm willing to bet that there were probably even limitations on how many sounds could be playing at any given time. Like, you probably noticed that, you know, in Halo 1, it was just like the air was full of, like, music and, like, you know, aliens screaming and Marines hollering and grenades going off. And Halo 1 had an audio limit. There was only a certain amount of sounds that could be playing at any given time. I'd be willing to bet the audio limit for Killzone was significantly lower than Halo 1. So they had to do what they could, and it just doesn't work. It sounds very quiet. Yo, is this Reach? Sure. Yeah, you know what? This is Halo Reach. But yeah, like, the one thing, arguably the only thing that this game did pretty well was, like, you know? I need to look at the credits, you know, and probably the engineering team as well. But, like, the actual animations are extremely good for a game of this time period. Like, really, really, really ahead of the curve. It's just kind of like a shame that the game that forms a shell around these reload animations is just not good. There they are. Look out, Halo's elites. This is state-of-the-art AI. And the AI doesn't get much better in Killzone 2. The problem with Killzone 2's AI is that they tried to emulate the kind of, the way that Bungie designed, like, you know, the, behavior trees for the Covenant. So, like, Covenant can make, you know, decisions based on what's going on around them, and then execute those decisions, and it makes them appear like they're planning and coordinating with each other. Killzone 2 tried that as well, and you've got, like, these kind of, like, goofy guys in, like, snow pants with, like, these hilarious voices, but now they're running around and trying to act like the Covenant, so sometimes they'll drop their fully loaded gun and take out, like, a little knife and then scream like a maniac and slowly make their way across an entire room to get to you. And it's like, okay, you're not an alien from outer space. Like, you're literate, you know, you're like a human. Why are you acting like an alien? Like, why you throw your gun on the ground? So Killzone 2 is, like, bad in very different ways from Killzone 1. COD 1 looked and sounded so much better. Yeah, definitely, like, the graphics of this game, I don't think this game looks very good. It's got some high-quality models here and there, but as a composite, like, everything working together, like, this doesn't look good. You know, this doesn't look, it's not a very good-looking game. I'm also playing on hard, by the way, I think. Can I check and see the difficulty? Somebody probably remembers. I'm playing on either normal or hard. He hasn't hit me yet. Guys, should I put him out of his misery? Okay, there we go. I played this game before, and I was immediately confused by the control scheme. How is it to you? The control scheme's fine, I think. This is before aiming down the sights became super popular, so it's got the Halo control scheme of like right click to aim down, or not aim down the sights, but it's like a camera zoom, you know? Like this weapon has a scope on it, so you can use your eyes to zoom in, I guess. The pistol does not have a scope, so you can't zoom in with that. But for the most part, it just controls like a normal game. But curiously, crouch is on the left trigger. And that actually got fleshed out in Killzone 2 to a more successful extent, I'd say. Because, so, okay, like, hyperbole aside, Killzone 2 is not a good game, and I'm going to stand on that hill. But there's a lot of ideas in Killzone 2 that I really like. And one of them is its approach to a cover system. So you hold down the left trigger and your guy will like hug a wall. And then from there you can kind of like peek your gun over the cover or around the sides of the cover. Like you're supposed to kind of feel kind of like an action movie, like, you know, Saving Private Ryan, like World War II soldier who's kind of, you know, just barely surviving and shooting his gun over the cover. And Killzone 2 definitely did that a lot better, even if still a lot of the issues, I guess, that Guerrilla Games had as a developer at this time were never really resolved, like bad writing, bad AI, bad voice acting, bad characters. It was hard difficulty? Okay. Here, let's cook a grenade. Yeah, but, like, look at that. You know, you pull out the grenade and you can actually see it like a Tamagotchi, you know? It starts beep, 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 like beeping at you, and you can see it lighting up and stuff. These systems did not have infinite memory. You know, like animations, attention to detail, all of that hogged up resources that had to be read off the disc. And it's crazy how much detail they were able to squeeze into a PlayStation 2. But when you look at, like, you know, the rest of the game, it's like, okay, well, maybe I can see actually why. Like, maybe I can see why this game was able to squeeze onto a PS2, because most of the effort went into, like, the detail of specifically the first-person animations, and that's it. Resistance was cool. Resistance was cool. And Resistance never got a fair shake. Resistance 1 was really good, and it had a very sloppy development cycle, and it's a miracle that it actually came out okay. This is another limit of the PS2, is your levels are more or less just like 2 rooms, and then you hit a loading screen. Like, they can't have the massive, giant, seamless open levels of Halo 1. Here we go. I think it's this level. There's this iconic line in this game that I really, really like, where I think somebody dies, and it's like, no, not Johnson. He was only a boy. I can't remember if it was on this level or not, but here, what am I supposed to do? Okay, yeah, there's a kill zone across the street that we gotta get. There we go. This is cool. I do like this sniper. Look, it's not like locked to the center of your screen. And it's not because it's like great, you know? It's more just like so many games play the exact same way nowadays that going back and seeing a game that is actually trying to do something that nobody, even if it kind of like messes up and doesn't do a very good job at it, it's like, you know what, this is an original idea, and I can fuck with it for a little bit, you know? Like, I'll have some patience for your weird, janky mechanics, because I know what you're trying to do, and I appreciate it. You just missed the line? I did? How do you get the line to play? Did it play? Maybe I should put on my headphones so I can actually hear the game. Okay. In the latter two Killzone games, the 6-axis, you had to keep the controller still to snipe, or it would sway everywhere. Yeah, they were doing a lot of like stuff like that with the PlayStation 3. All right, let's see. Is that the sniper over there? All right. The Hellghast go hard as hell. Okay. Okay. I'm glad you feel that way. I won't argue. I don't think so, but I won't argue with you. The Hellghast, they're like stormtroopers to me. Poor little guy. They both go hard into the dirt, I guess. Says Frozen Fire. Yeah, that's how hard the Hellghast go. They go hard right into the dirt. That was so awkward. That was like socially uncomfortable. I've never had that experience with a game's AI before. We were all just staring at each other. I had to avoid eye contact. I felt uncomfortable. Like I just walked in. Like I just walked in on someone using the restroom. Oh my god. Are you playing on an emulator? I am. But you will be happy to know that I also own a physical copy of this game, because I love this game. The Covenant are putting up a real fight. Could you imagine if like Halo 1 ended up like this? Yeah, it's just like... So, okay, planet-wide invasion. The entire planet is being invaded. There's just no atmosphere. It's just like quiet. Does the empty mag reload, or does he flip the dual mag? That's a good question, actually. Here, let's see. Okay, that's a flip. And then let's do an empty reload. It must be just like every other reload. He'll like flip around the taped magazine.
Get ready! ABC approaching! We've got to take out that enemy ABC! Get down there and use the missile launcher!
Press X to vault over obstacles. So here's like another instance of like insane attention to detail, but at what cost? Because it's like, okay, vaulting. No. It's not the vaulting you think. It's scripted vaulting, which means you can only vault on predetermined objects that the developers have placed, such as that right there. So it's like, oh my god, oh, like vaulting, this game's so immersive and realistic, wow, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. Nowhere else to vault here. So it's just, they just like made you do it. You just looked at a pretty animation. That was it. It didn't actually have like a mechanical usage. you know? Which Killzones are worth playing? I've been curious about giving the franchise a go. In my honest opinion, like all of them, they're all worth giving a go. All of them are uniquely mediocre in very special ways, but they all have like, it's like, oh, they were so close to something interesting, you know? Like they're beautiful, beautiful, expensive discs of missed opportunity. That's what individual Killzone games are. It's like putting money into potential, you know?
There's more of them! Come on, quick!
Yeah, these Killzone Marines are definitely not Halo Marines. You know, they're not up there with, look, a Mach 5! Jackal video when? Currently working on it. Don't worry, I've not forgotten about it, and when I say I'm working on it, I mean I am editing it as we speak, okay? There's a reason that I'm taking so long, and hopefully it's going to pay off. There was that game called Time Shift. It wasn't really good, but the atmosphere in it was really good, I recall. You get thrown into the action and immediately felt like you were in a big revolution and war. I think I have Time Shift on my wish list. There we go, we got him. Good job, Killzones. Let's move out.
To the HQ perimeter.
Here we go. That rocket didn't have an exhaust flame. Well, that stuff that stuff's okay, because, like, look, the developers, they're trying so hard to fit as many, like, visual effects as they can on the screen on a PS2. I fully believe that at one point in this game's development, the rocket did have exhaust, and it just had to be cut, you know, because they needed, like, extra frames. Like, it probably was a little bit too taxing. Half of Killzone 2's dialogue is Natko saying a "your mom" joke to Garza, and then Killzone 3 was Rico and Narville beef. Yeah, so this game is, like, adorable, right? The problem with Killzone 2 is it felt like the developers played Gears of War, and then they were like, actually, we need to make it that. So what you get in Killzone 2 is basically like, we have Gears of War at home. Like, the main character is Discount Marcus Phoenix. His friends are like Discount Dom, like all of the usuals from Gears of War. And they're trying to emulate the banter of Gears of War in Killzone 2, but they can't do it because they're not that great at writing. So it's really awkward. Well, I guess they're a Dutch studio, so it really does sound like what a Dutch studio thinks American war games sound like. So they're constantly saying the F word, constantly saying shit, constantly getting pissed off, you know, I'm pissed. They even do the trope where, like, a door is an opening, and then the guy goes, F this, and shoots at the electronic lock, but it doesn't actually open the door. But the game doesn't, like, that's not a joke, you know, that's not funny that it didn't work to open the door. Like, the game just did it because it's seen other games like Gears of War do things like that. So it's like, oh, the door won't open. Now's the time where the angry American says F this and shoots the door lock with his gun. Okay, moving on. So that's kind of what Gears of War 2, wow, Freudian slip. Killzone 2 is kind of like trying its hardest to be Gears of War for the PlayStation, and it looks prettier than Gears of War, but it is definitely not nearly as charismatic. They're literally called Alpha Squad. Yeah, that's right. In Killzone 2, you're part of Alpha Squad, not Delta Squad like in Gears of War. If I remember, they had a weapon proficiency system depending on who you played in the first game. Yes, and that is actually something that I quite like about the first game. So you are playing as, you meet characters. So, okay, here's the thing that I said about, like, how each Killzone game feels like an expensive disc copy of Wasted Potential. Or not wasted, I'm not going to say wasted, I'll say missed potential. Killzone 1 actually had this clever idea where you meet characters throughout the story mode, and once you meet them, those characters become playable. So you don't have to be John Killzone the whole game, you know? You can switch to, like, different characters, and they each have different, like, abilities and perks and things that make them special. Are those Killzones down there? No, those are friendly guys. Ah. Wasn't Killzone 2's E3 trailer pre-rendered even though it was trying to look like a game? Yeah, so Killzone 2, it is infamous as kind of like... Unfortunately, it kind of like overshadowed... It kind of like overshadowed the narrative of Killzone 2, like... I mean, like in the real world, like the lead up to it, the marketing. Because, it was revealed with a CGI trailer that was in first person, and it looked like gameplay, you know? I mean, we are wiser gamers nowadays, so we can spot, you know, like, fake gameplay, and it definitely does look fake, but at the time, like, nobody was doing that, really. So it was, people honestly thought that that was real gameplay, and that the game looked like playable CGI. Of course, that wasn't the case, and Sony at the time said, like, yep, that was gameplay, what you just saw. That was literally running on the PS3. Like, I hope you guys really enjoy it when it arrives. And it turned out behind the scenes, what had actually happened was the developers at Guerrilla Games, they made a CGI video, which is called I think it's called a target render. And they're designed basically as, like, this is what we want to get as close as possible to. You know? So they're not supposed to be seen by other people. It's just for the studio so that the artists and engineers know what to focus on to get the engine to a place where it can produce visuals that are close to what's in the target render. Sony somehow got their... Well, I'm not going to say somehow. Like, you know... I don't know if Guerrilla was owned by Sony at the time, but Sony got their hands on that, and they just put it on the stage at E3 and just told everyone it was real gameplay. And Guerrilla Games couldn't come out and say, no, that's bullshit. Like, it's Sony took our video and is lying to all of you. So Guerrilla Games took a lot of the flack for that, because they were accused of lying and deceiving people with a fake trailer. What's going on with ads, Flames reviews? Are you guys all okay? That's actually really interesting. I didn't know about that. Yeah. Here, let's move our way across this bridge then. Oh, wait, no. Maybe this is a bad idea. Okay. Yeah. And one of the things that is, interesting about this game, I guess, is because it's trying to be a little bit more like World War II in space, there is a bit of I mean, look, they're literally dressed like Nazis. Like, they're obviously bad guys, but there is a little bit of an attempt to kind of make it not seem like they're just like locusts, from Gears of War. Like, they're doing this because they want to, not because they're scary, mindless monsters. And so because of that, one of the characters you meet up with is a spy for your side. He's essentially a Nazi spy, or I guess spy for the Allies on the space Nazis. And he's like a fun little character. I'm trying to remember the other characters. There is a Latino man who, this game came out in when? 2004? Yeah, so, of course, the Latino man is very dumb to the point that he doesn't even know who William Shakespeare is, which is like, that's cool, guys. That's cool. But, then there's... I think that's it? No, there were 4 playable characters, I think. I'm forgetting one. Some of the weapons just straight up look like Halo weapons. Like, on Elf, the weapons you have are just holding it. Looks like the Reach DMR minus some parts. Well, some of that I think is because like all of these weapons are bullpup, which I am okay with. I in fact encourage that. I think bullpup weapons are so cool. It is just like a cool thing when you reload a gun by putting the magazine into the stock rather than the front of the gun. And I like that the Hellgast or the Killzones or whatever they're called, their guns are like, you put like cylinders, like they don't use magazines. Oh no. Oh no. I'm being shot. Oh wow, they actually got me. Okay. There is a 4th. It's The Lady. Oh my god, you're right. Yeah, that's right. It's a 2004 game. So, of course, The Lady is the no-nonsense, moody sniper. I think that was it. Am I tripping, or does this look absolutely nothing like Halo? No, you're not tripping. I don't think this game looks very much like Halo. For starters, Halo has an atmosphere.
Good to see you, sir. They're all over the place, so we'll have to be careful.
Oh, let's. You know what? I think I'm supposed to get this sniper rifle here. The tank designs are cool. Are they? They just look like tanks to me. I mean, I'll have to get a better look. Killzone 3 had 2 characters, Hooper and Jammer, which are only in cutscenes, not even in gameplay, and when at parts there are, Nako is not in gameplay or cutscenes, just the second player for co-op. Are you playing this on the PS3 or an emulator? I am playing it on let's in Minecraft, I'm playing it on an emulator. No, this is an emulator, but I do own the Killzone trilogy on the PlayStation 3 because it's fun every now and then to go back. You know, when everybody right now is on, like, their nostalgia high and they're like, Sony needs to revive Killzone. And then I'm like, okay, let's go play Killzone. And then I'm like, oh, that's why Sony isn't reviving it. Well, and I also think part of why Sony isn't reviving Killzone is I'm not sure you could do Killzone nowadays. Just because everybody is, like, the video game industry, like the first-person shooter genre, has sort of been homogenized towards, like, super slippery Call of Duty-like movement, sliding, all of that stuff, like, you know, movement tech and stuff. And Killzone, for all of its faults, tried to stand out from the crowd by having kind of, like, characteristically weighty movement. Like, you're probably noticing my guy looks very heavy. And even when I fire my weapon, look, see, things like the reticle will disappear. Let's take out this. Look, the reticle is not stationary on the screen. You know, so the game is attempting to make it feel like you are holding a very heavy weapon. And I don't think that would fly nowadays. You'd get, like, you know, people on YouTube saying that the game is hot trash. And then also there are accessibility problems, which is this game, unless you have a strong stomach, you know, like, this game is probably going to give you motion sickness because of just how much screen shake there is. And couple that with the input lag and stuff like that. Like, Killzone would be a really tough game to do nowadays. Because it would not be very accessible to people. They look like discount Half-Life 2 Combine. Yeah, they kind of are. They're just, they're like angry little Nazis in snow pants. You know, the Hellgas, like, you see the cover for Killzone and you're like, wow, those guys look really scary. And then you see them move. And then immediately you are reassured that you're going to be okay. Like, don't worry, that guy is not going to hurt you, okay? I don't even think he'd know how to open a door if he could. Where's the third guy? Oh, they're downstairs. Is that the ODST pistol? It looks like a bizarre Desert Eagle? It looks almost like... It's like a Desert Eagle with a rail on the top? Come here, you. Ah, I got you. Like, that's cool for a PS2 game, you know? First-person animation's pretty good. More like First Order Stormtroopers than Empire ones, not gonna lie. Hey, hey. Do I have to bust out, the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope? You want to watch that movie again? When they couldn't hit Luke and he was literally like 15 feet away from them and slightly up? Come on, do we have to watch that movie again? Let's not pretend the Empire Stormtroopers were badasses, okay? One of them hit his head while entering a room. Guerrilla did not make this as their first game. I see somebody saying. This was not Guerrilla Games' first game. Like, is that a cool tank design? I guess it just looks like a tank to me.
Captain, we'll stay here and hold this position.
Here, we'll pick up this, because I think I'm done goofing off with the rocket launcher now. A dry sparrow, not a desert eagle. Yeah, it's a dehydrated pigeon. Who's that? Oh, it's a good guy. Let's see what the good guy wants.
We've been expecting you. If you follow me, I'll take you to our CO.
There's definitely a lot of view bobbing. And I do not mind that. My wife minds that a lot. She gets violently motion sick. And that's why I will not advocate for it or say that, like, it's, oh man, like, games need to be more like this. You need to be able to literally not see what you're shooting at.
Sarge,
I'm just saying it. I thankfully have a strong stomach for motion sickness. But thanks to my wife, I have learned that other people are not like me. And that I need to understand that, like, you know, there's a reason that they don't make games like this. Or, like, they at least provide sliders and toggles, you know, to tone some of that stuff down. Because, you know, you don't want to return your game to the store the next day. Because it's like, I can't play this. This game makes me feel ill. I see somebody talking about Shadowfall. Shadowfall is... I'd say Shadowfall in terms of, like, bad. Shadowfall is like this game in terms of bad. But unlike this game, Shadowfall actually has, like, great graphics, you know? But it's got the same thing where it's, like, not great AI, not great writing, not great music, not great voice acting, very janky feeling. One of my favorite things in the world, so Killzone Shadowfall, if any of you guys have it, get the shotgun. Just shoot the guy's feet. The Helghast's feet. Just shoot it and see what happens. Okay, I'll tell you what happens. I think there's a bug or something. And so what'll happen is it will treat the Helghast as if, like, as if a grenade went off at their feet. So they will shoot directly into the sky. Like, I'm talking, like, vertical. Like, right up, as if you were directly underneath them and hoisting them into the air. And I don't know why. Just shoot their feet, and they shoot up into the ceiling. It's very fun. I call the Killzone Shadowfall shotgun, I call it the gravity gun. Because it launches them into the ceiling. Alrighty. Just think the head guy, or the head bobbing is your guy. The head guy! The head bobbing is your guy listening to music. What music? I don't think a single song is played. Why is this game so quiet? Where's the atmosphere? Oops. I rage quit Shadowfall because of that one turret section at the midpoint of the game. Oh god, man. Shadowfall, see, PS4, when I got the PS4, Killzone Shadowfall was the first game I got for it, because I was like, I've heard about this Killzone game for a while. Let's finally check it out. And I was in disbelief. like, obviously the graphics looked good, but, like, the first-person animations were not great. The scripting was not great. There's like this sequence in the campaign where there's like a hostage trade and you're the hostage, and they're like, we're gonna give you back to your friends, but then we're gonna take the rest of your pathetic planet. And then your guy says, try it. It won't be as easy as the last time. Like, you know, that's his comeback. And then there's this pause. And the pause keeps persisting, and nobody's doing anything. And I'm like, he just insulted the guy. Why is everybody just standing there? And then the guy's like, oh, screw you. So there was just like this really long delay. And it was like, did nobody see how like that just removed any badassness that comeback had? Because of the weird delay between the line and then the reaction to it. And it's scripted, so it's not like it's ambient AI dialogue, like it's a first-person cutscene. So I guess they just wanted the Helghast to stare at you quietly, not moving for a while, before violently reacting to your insult. And Killzone Shadowfall, that's the kind of stuff in that game where I was like, oh my god, what? This is Killzone? This is what people have been talking about for so many years? This is hilarious. And then I went ahead and bought the Killzone trilogy on the PS3, and I was so happy. It was like Christmas playing this game for the first time. I started with the first game, and it was like, it's everything I hoped it would be and more. It's so bad.
Holy shit! Tank!
How do I... Oh, that's how I do it. Okay, that's how I launch it. I think this thing has a grenade launcher. There we go. They left room for a laugh track. Oh, God, guys. Yeah, Killzone's a lot of fun. It is not a good franchise. There is a reason that Guerrilla Games and Sony lost interest in Killzone. It wasn't this unfair shooter or this like underrated gem that never got a fair shake. It's a a mediocre series of games that aren't very good, but they're like a lot of fun. Yes. Donuts were consumed, says Lomia Smile. I'm glad that you had donuts, buddy. Recently gotten to watching your videos. Great content. Hope you're doing good, says Kai. That's very kind of you. I am doing pretty good. How are you doing? So this is on the PS3. Yes, this is Killzone HD. It was ported by... God, I forgot the studio. I know that this game... So here's what's, like, really annoying, okay? Halo 1 gets kind of, like, forgotten and lived on and survived via a very bad conversion to PC. And, like, nobody really cares about, like, upkeeping it, bug fixing. You know, on the Master Chief Collection, the music still doesn't play correctly. There's still, like, bugs tied to the frame rate and stuff. But, Killzone 1, like, this not very good, mediocre shooter, if I remember right, they did not have the actual, like, source... I don't think it was the source code. I think it was, they didn't have, like, the code for the released game. I'm not sure what you call that. Gold source, though I don't think that's what it's called. I think that's the engine that Half-Life 1 ran on. But they couldn't find, like, the files for the game at Guerrilla or something, or they were, like, damaged or something, or they were stored on, like, a freaking VHS tape. There was a lot of drama, and a lot of effort went into, like, painstakingly restoring the game bit by bit, and, like, redeveloping the lost code and stuff like that. So as goofy as it is, because like this game has, you know, not good sound design, not good AI, like bugs and glitches, like all of this is super close to the PS2 version, and in fact, in some ways, it's actually significantly better than the PS2 version. So it's like, we live in like a world where Halo 1, you know, Microsoft doesn't do a very good job upkeeping the Halo series, and, you know, making sure that those old games are kind of playable in the state that the developers intended. But frickin' Killzone gets like this flawless HD port to the PS3 that a lot of effort went into. It's just not fair, man. Hey, Loan Me a Smile just donated memberships. The Cambion, Spikefish Network, Dragonlord, Guilty Knight, and Pacific Blue. You guys all got memberships. So if you look, you should now have access to a lot of fun emotes, such as Craig. That's awesome. Cheers, Loan Me a Smile. Killzone 2 is peak, though. Killzone 2 is peak at not being peak. Weirdly enough, Killzone 3 has the closest to the strongest writing in the series. But it's just kind of like built off not good bones.
It's good to see you, Jan. You too, John. What's happening out there? Are we holding? Well, it's impossible to tell with the comms as they are.
That guy does not look in a good way. That looks like a skeleton that someone glued some hair strands onto.
We may as well pack up right here, right now. So much for taking them out of the sky before they land. Yeah.
The cutscenes look decent, at least. Well, of course they look decent. They're, well, I don't know if you're seeing what I'm seeing. I'm seeing something that's insanely compressed. But they're CGI.
I'm just waiting for the damn key to arrive. Head up for the shuttle.
Loan Me a Smile says he's being tracked by the IRS.
Firepower to root these bastards out. Well, as we heard, they're sending the cavalry. We just have to hold out until they arrive.
Nah, Killzone 3 is pretty goofy in its writing, LOL. Killzone 2 is more grounded. Well, Killzone 2 is more grounded in that
I was hoping you'd... What's the brief?
you're on the ground, I guess. Like, Killzone 2 is just kind of like Guerrilla Games played Gears of War 1 and then dramatically pivoted over and tried to ape off of Gears of War 1, you know? They're like, look, Delta Squad's really cool. We're going to make our own. We're going to call them Alpha Squad. They're going to have witty banter, too. And it didn't work.
We need him back, Jan, and quickly. The enemy want him too. I think our best...
Looks like an Admiral Hood in a wig. No, it looks like Admiral Hood. It looks like Admiral Hood's great-great-great-grandfather. Can we all agree that Killzone 2 looked amazing? Oh, yeah. Killzone 2 looked really good. So you can see I've got Templar. What's going on? Get up!
Are you okay, Jan? I'm organizing an evac.
Jan, do you know where we are? This is a kill zone. HD, get up on your feet.
Okay, head for the research unit, but be careful, Jan. They're swarming in.
This game looks like a game that came out and was bought by a large amount of consumers. Yeah, it definitely was a game that was released in stores, and then people paid currency that they earned via jobs that pay wages. That currency they used to purchase this game, and then they played it in their off time, and then they said, "I wish I bought an Xbox." What are you silly guys doing down there? This is a hospital. You can't be shooting up the place. Get out of here, you rascals. Look at those silly little guys. Did you do this? Was this you guys? That really confused him. Dude, I'm like, you're looking the teacher. Your buddies are over there. I'm right here. I'm right. He saw me. And then he literally, he was just shooting at me. I didn't go anywhere. I'm right here. Oh my god, my stomach! Ow! Ow! Oh my god! Oh my god, my head hurts and my stomach hurts. Oh my god. I was like, I didn't move. I was right there. Ugh. Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Killzone, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, watch the stairs!
There they are. There's the silly willies. Come here, you. It's time to put them to bed. Where'd he go? Come here. Is that the Half-Life? What up? Like the Valve sound? Am I going crazy? Who are these? These have got to be developers, right? These have got to be developers that they like put in silly costumes. To be fair to Killzone, it's a much better game than Haze. Oh man, I haven't gotten through Haze yet. I own it. I haven't played through it, but that's another one that's just yeah, Haze was bad, like really bad from what I played, and I'm not sure if it's like funny bad, you know? Like that was so funny. That was so funny that I couldn't breathe. And I don't know if Haze is that funny, you know? Why are you playing game journalist difficulty? I'm not! It's the hardest difficulty! I'm playing on hard mode! That's why I was laughing so hard! Because, like, I've remembered, like, all the times of like tension and fear playing Halo on legendary difficulty and hearing like the you know, like hearing like an elite charging, and I'm like, no, 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 like my shields are down, like he's gonna kill me, I'm gonna get a checkpoint reset. And then I play this and it's like, we're just having fun, and it's the hardest difficulty. The AI doesn't know where I am. Let's kill all of the silly little guys. What's over here? Yeah, I'll take some of this. Is there any yummy little treats? Like maybe a shotgun or like a rocket launcher somewhere? Doing a bit of an explore. Haze was so bad that its developer, Free Radical, had to get shut down. Haze is such a tragic situation, man. It's like infuriating reading what happened with Haze. Like basically that's a game where Ubisoft, like the studio was already in a not great situation financially, and their next game had to be a hit, and then Ubisoft became their publisher and just locked them into an exclusivity deal, which would have, you know, like an exclusivity deal to the lesser console that was harder to develop for and not selling as well. And it's like, yeah, that's gonna sell millions, guys. And then Ubisoft didn't trust them and basically had like live-in executives at their studio, like hovering over their shoulder and like controlling every aspect of the game's development and just demanding that they do this and do that because Halo's doing that, and then changing their mind and then never mind wanting it back. And so it's just like a game none of the developers had fun making, and none of them even wanted to make it, and then it bombed. And then Ubisoft just was like, oops, that sucks. Oh well, bye. Man, I wish I could figure if this game is super gory or not. I have a bit of a weak stomach when it comes to that. Don't worry, Killzone is not a gory series. Killzone's not gory, it's not very violent. It's just, you know, those guys. Yeah, the worst thing that happens in Killzone is you shoot one of the Killzones and, like, some cartoon blood splatters. But unlike Halo, it doesn't actually stay on the ground. Because I don't think they actually had, like, you know... I don't even think they had the memory for that on the PS2. Because already here what they're doing with, like, the bodies remaining, like, that's pretty heavy, from what I understand, on a PlayStation 2. That's why, like, games at that time, most notably Resident Evil 4, the bodies would kind of, like, bubble up and turn into liquid. It was like a clever way for the designers to get rid of the bodies so they could free up memory. So let's go here. Yeah, so it's just like, still there isn't really an atmosphere. You know, it's just like, it's like quiet, and you're just hearing your heavily compressed footstep audio, and then there's a hitch because the game is loading a bunch of AI, and then you hear like the same 3 voice lines of like, get them, kill them. And then like 4 guys enter a room, and they're kind of lost, and they don't know where you are. Ah! That's the terrible stuff. They got me. But does it have a ton of cuss words? Killzone 1, no. Killzone 2, yes. That game tried very, very, very hard to be a big boy, does not pee his bed grown-up game. And so that game has so many F-bombs in it that it becomes embarrassing. The animations are surprisingly fluid. Yeah, the animation work in this game, specifically for the first-person animations, they're all insanely good. Hey, I just got off Halo Online. Did you know that game is still functioning? Yeah. Yeah, it had a new patch recently, didn't it? What? This is hard? I need to play this again. Yeah, this is hard, believe it or not. The most difficult thing about the Killzone games are the controls, the input lag. And the view bob. It is difficult to aim and shoot at targets in Killzone. The actual AI are not intelligent at all. They're very incompetent. Look at this. Look at this silly little guy. What's he up to? Oops, I dropped this here super chat. Do you mind holding on to it, Mr. LNG? Mr. Nowhere, it's good to see you, buddy. I appreciate it, man. It's always nice when you drop by. How are you doing? We're playing the Halo Killer. Yeah, 50 buckaroos. That's really nice, Mr. Nowhere. Did Rebecca make your little kill zone in the corner? She did. She made my kill zone right there. My beautiful wife. She's right behind me. Mr. Nowhere. Halo Online. You mean Infinite? Surprised that game is still running too. I'm not. Come on, let's not be like that. Halo Online has a player base. It's a small one, but they play the game. That's a pretty good pump animation. I'd say that's better looking than Halo 1's. Yeah, this game has better shotgun animations than Halo 1. Definitely better than Halo 2. Well, I mean, Halo 2 has, like, worse animations than Halo 1. Outside of maybe the sniper rifle? Aw. People are saying hi to you, babe. I was on a custom lobby with 6 other people. This reminds me of a game I'd pick up at GameStop for a few bucks that I'd never heard of before and thought, hey, I'm bored, why not? Oh, the Killzone series? Yeah, that kind of is the Killzone series in a nutshell. They're kind of like, I saw someone describe Killzone Shadowfall for the PS4 as like, at the time, you know, when the only shooters were Battlefield 4 and Call of Duty Ghosts. And Call of Duty Ghosts was bad, and Battlefield 4 was broken at the time. So it was like, really, if you just can't stand Call of Duty Ghosts, get Killzone. It's literally your only option on the PS4. Hello, Mr. LNG. Hope you're well, says Spikefish. I'm doing very well. How are you doing? The whole gang's here. I'm shocked. This isn't hit scam. No, it's not. Oh, look, the kill zones. They don't know I'm here. I'm gonna get them. Okay, we got them. I found a copy of COD Ghosts at Goodwill, and when I opened it up, it was just Madden. That's a great story. That is a great story, Durandal. If you ever tell that story again to somebody else, please say it exactly like you just did. When I opened it up, it was just Madden. If my memory serves me right, COD Ghosts got a stupid amount of hate at first, right? Yeah, Call of Duty Ghosts was not, it was not liked. And my memory of Call of Duty Ghosts is still fresh. It was rough. It's just like the hit scan nature of those Call of Duty games with the insanely fast time to kill of Call of Duty Ghosts, mixed with the leaning system, mixed with the 6v6 on these huge maps. And then you also had like kill streaks that were not very offensive. A lot of them were just kind of like you pilot a thing and it's like a little bit hard to control. So there wasn't a lot of action in Call of Duty Ghosts. It was very, very, very slow. Sometimes so slow that the match timer would run out and people hadn't finished the match, you know? And people were still high off of Black Ops 2, which had pretty good combat pacing. And it just, you know, it felt like they were trying to kind of do Modern Warfare 2, but a little bit more tactical. And it just, the experiment didn't work. You know, the final game, it was a little bit too slow-paced for the COD crowd. And it didn't help that the campaign was genuinely not good. Guys, here they come. That was really scary, guys. That was really tense. Good morning, LNG. Hope you're doing well. I am doing really well. I hope you are doing well in return. If I recall correctly, when Ghosts was released, modern military shooters were starting to die out in popularity. There was also a bit of that. Modern Warfare 3 was kind of like, you know, people were so sick of Modern Warfare. And then Call of Duty Ghosts was like another one. Like another game like Modern Warfare. You know, and then of course everybody started doing the futuristic games, and then everyone got sick of those. Sounds like the Modern Warfare 2 to Modern Warfare Cold War transition. That was a brutal one. I'd say it's a little bit different. I don't like Cold War. I much prefer Modern Warfare 2019 over Cold War. But generally, it seemed like people actually liked, like in the vocal COD community, they seemed to really like Cold War. Even though everybody understood that there was a pretty dramatic engine downgrade moving back to the Treyarch engine. You know, but people seem to like Cold War. The Call of Duty Ghosts was a situation where it just genuinely the game was not, it wasn't just a matter of like, well, it's a little bit different. It's like it was not as good as the game that had just come out the year before. It was not as refined, not as polished. And it was also the last Call of Duty game to have a population counter, because people could see in real time the player population going down in a Call of Duty game. So, you know, probably scared Activision. And then, sure enough, the next Call of Duty game, Advanced Warfare, no population counter. You know, 343 did the same thing with Halo 4. Never fully understood why this was called a Halo killer, even back from when it came out. Not saying the game is bad, it's just so different from Halo. I'm not sure how it was supposed to kill it. It's okay, Durek, the game's bad. Killzone's a bad game. But yeah, it was unfortunately like marketing hype. I forgot what magazine first called it the Halo killer, but Sony got so excited. And they like actively encouraged magazines to use that term. Ugh, sorry, my voice is dry. Throat's dry. What is this thing? Is this a flare gun? Ah! If I recall correctly, you can actually see NPCs' faces swap when they speak. In this game? That's hilarious, if that's true. How are you feeling about the new Black Ops? The new Black Ops looks really, like, fun. I mean, the Omni movement stuff, I'm worried about that. You know, I'm worried that the game is gonna be, like, insanely sweaty. In the same way Advanced Warfare was really sweaty, where it's just like a little bit too many movement options. Those people who live with a skateboard taped to their back in the modern Call of Duty games, like they're gonna be unstoppable in Black Ops 6. So I am worried about that, but maybe the skill-based matchmaking will protect me from them. It looks good though. It looks good. It's the first Treyarch Call of Duty game, I think, since Black Ops 2 that I'm actually looking forward to. Ayo, is this the zone where they kill? It certainly is. It's the zone where they try to kill. You should drink water now. I will. Oh man, my Shih Tzu is sleeping right next to me. Got it. I got water. My Shih Tzu looks like a plush toy right now because he's tipped. And he's snoring. Ah, alright. Any opinions on the new Delta Force game? Delta Force looks... I don't want to say good, because Delta Force isn't doing anything, like, anything remarkable. It's basically just copying Battlefield and Call of Duty, and that's why I'm looking forward to playing it, because it's just copying games that I like. And so, of course, I'm going to like that game. I guess I'm more impressed by Delta Force at how it's like... It's like those like mobile knockoffs of console games from back in the day, but this is like a console game knockoff of a console game. It's just like crazy how close they were able to get to like Modern Warfare and Battlefield without stepping over the line into just like infringement, you know? Like, if you go watch Delta Force gameplay and you look at that gun, where it's positioned on the screen, how the guy is holding it, the way it bobs when he moves, the way that the animations are stylized, like, you know, I'm not dumb. I've played Modern Warfare. I know what you're doing. I recognize it. But it's like, hey, you know, current Call of Duty games are a little bit sleepy, so maybe the Call of Duty, like, knockoff will be, like, decent fun. I mean, hopefully it can also rip off Call of Duty's combat loop well. You know, Battlefield isn't really doing anything at the moment, so maybe I'll get a bit of a Battlefield fix out of it, too. Yeah, Delta Force is like Power World for shooters. That's a great way to describe it. You have a Shih Tzu? I do. I do have a Shih Tzu. His name is Pumpkin. Aw. He stopped snoring because I said his name out loud. It's okay, baby. Go back to sleep. I take it you didn't care for BO3, not even the zombies mode? Yeah, Black Ops 3 wasn't my thing. I mean, I say it wasn't my thing. I think I still have, like, hundreds of hours in it. But they were more like hours of trying to enjoy the game. I just, like, Black Ops 3, the multiplayer, I was kind of, like, offended, I guess, that they, like, Titanfall had just come out, and they were just copying Titanfall's movement and not doing it as well. And then, you know, Destiny had just come out, and Black Ops 3 was like, we want the press RB LB to activate your superpowers too. Look, guys, we're also Destiny. There was just, like, a lot of stuff about it that, like, annoyed me, like, little things, where it was like, this is so blatant, you know? And the campaign just wasn't that good. Zombies, I liked parts of it and also really disliked other parts and was kind of disappointed in the direction that it went down because I really enjoyed World at War through Black Ops 2. This is really impressive on a technical level for a PS2 game. Yeah, yeah. You know what? Yeah. Like, this game, when you're outside, nothing looks convincing. But when you're inside, it's decent. I mean, maybe it's also the stream, so you guys are not seeing the... It's just walking around the space, it's very easy to see, like, all the little shortcuts that they're doing. You know, this isn't 3D. Those aren't actually shadows, you know, being cast by that top thing there. That's just a texture. It is flat. Like, lots of little tricks. They have the key. What key? What's going on? I'm not following the story. Oh, look at that Killzone. He's got, like, different clothes on. Oh, no, he got me. Are we supposed to be in the hospital? Maybe? Are we still in the hospital? I'm intrigued why Halo never got a Battlefield Big Team Battle game mode. The vehicle sandbox would be fantastic for it. I think some of it is probably just like the engine. I'm not sure that the Bungie Halo engine back on the 360 would have been able to do something like that. So they would probably have to use a different game engine. And also, like, Bungie was very protective of Halo. And so they kind of like notoriously made it very difficult for spin-offs to happen. But then after Bungie, I couldn't tell you why. That seems almost like a no-brainer. You know, you'd want to have like kind of a large-scale Halo spin-off. How are we this evening? Hope my guides helped out. Andrew, they helped out a lot, buddy. And we're doing pretty good. We're playing this. You missed a lot of AI goofiness earlier. I think we have to go this way.
The key is over here. Grab it, and we'll escort you out of here. General Button has set up an evac point inside the comms.
These Killzone games always remind me of how Fear looked. Oh, Fear looked so much better than Killzone. And Fear played better, too. And Fear just was better. This guy, like, nobody shot anything, and this guy yelled, "They've got me pinned!" Like, I'm right here, buddy. Oh, Andrew, if you're curious, man, we're playing on the hardest difficulty, okay? Fear is goated. Fear is so good. The first Fear, at least. The second one I remember not liking, and then the third Fear I didn't touch it. It just looked bad, you know. But Fear 1 was pretty awesome. Killzone is definitely one of the games of all time. Yeah, it's wild to me that Killzone got a sequel. Because, like, this is embarrassing, you know? You know, Halo had come out 3 years before this game. Like, the gaming industry was getting really good at being convincing and fluid and cinematic in motion. Like, there still was jank, but, like, this game isn't janky because it's old, okay? It's janky because it's not a good video game. That's like, I had a friend who, Sonic 06, if you guys remember that game, he was like, "Oh yeah, Sonic 06, that game is like really hard to play and really buggy and janky, but it's because it's old." And I had to explain to him, it's like, no, like, Sonic 06 is old, but it was bad at the time. Like, that jankiness, that wasn't just because of how old the game is. Like, that was bad at the time. Ah, Killzone, Sony's only notable homegrown FPS franchise abandoned for hi-fi visual novels. How does it stack up to its ancestors and contemporaries? Terribly, Andrew. We've already, so in mid-gunfight, one of these guys he just lost track of me and he couldn't find me. And I was standing there in front of him, and we sat there on the stream, like, watching him, and it wasn't an instance of, like, I was up on a ledge. Like, he was there, I was here, and there was a water cooler right here that I was hiding behind, and I stood up, he stared at me, fired a couple shots, and then took cover behind that door and looked into that room, thinking that I was in there. Like, we weren't in this exact location, but I'm explaining to you what happened in combat. And we stared at him, waiting for him to see that I'm here. We stepped out from behind cover. We shot him a couple times, and he didn't turn around. He was insistent that I was hiding in here somewhere. Lots of weird moments like that. Anyone ever looked at the Xbox PS2 shooter Black? I downloaded it because it's on Game Pass, and I think I played it for a total of 5 minutes, and then I was like, I get it. I get what this game is. Like, my curiosity is satisfied. I don't need to play anymore. I'll probably play more someday, but just... I could not sit down to invest time into it at the time. That was a bizarre way that I said that. Ugh. Halo Reach has the best shotgun animation. For the shotgun, in my opinion, it makes my monkey brain happy. Yeah, the Halo Reach shotgun reloads are just... There is not a single missed frame. On MCC, I think it looks a little bit weird at 60 FPS. It looks even worse at 44 FPS. Just because, like, those animations were not designed to be seen at that high of a frame rate. So some of the weight gets lost. But on the 360, at least, like, at 30 FPS, the Halo Reach shotgun feels so chunky. Chunky! That's a fair assessment of Black. I think at the time it came out, it seemed mind-blowing on a technological level to me. Yeah, so what I did like about Black from the, like, 5 minutes... Oh, man, my wife remembers, actually, me trying out the game. Because she saw it on the screen, and she was like, what's Black? And then I was like, it's like one of, you know, the boy games. And then I played it, and 15 minutes later, I told her, like, I get it. I'm fine. And she watched me uninstall it, like, 15 minutes after installing it and trying it. I think what would be more impressive for Black is if I got an original Xbox copy and actually saw what it was like on the hardware it was designed for, rather than, like, the Xbox Series X, you know? Oops. Let's try again. There's, like, 4 guys up there, by the way. Oops. Okay, let's try again. Look, all I'm saying is if that was the Covenant, I'd be in a lot of trouble. They would have found their way down here by now and gotten me. There we go. There we go. Black was a nice surprise at the time. It is not held up. Well, I like to think that games, if they were a pleasant surprise at the time for technological reasons, then I would like to imagine that I will still be impressed by it, you know? I just want to make sure that I'm giving the game a fair shake by playing it on native hardware. Because, like, I want to see the frame rate tank when something really, really crazy happens. You know, I want to feel like that original hardware struggling to render the game. Like, I don't want to be cheating and playing the game at, like, a super high frame rate 4K resolution flawlessly, you know? That screen shake for throwing the grenades was insane. Oh, man, you know what's even more insane? So, in this game... Did you hear me? I scared them. So, in this game, when you reload, your view is directed to the floor and then directed back up. Like, the game kind of takes control of your thumbstick and makes you look down for the reload animation. And then he looks back up. So I didn't know that for the longest time. So for me, I'm like, time to reload. Whoa, what the hell? Why am I looking down? So I readjust my aim. Now I'm looking at the ceiling, and I have to look back down. So I'm like running around in combat. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Now I'm looking at the ceiling again. Like, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know that the game was just like screen shake is one thing, but making my guy look around places is crazy to me. Oh no, at least the Hellgas soldiers have a neat aesthetic, even if it's just Half-Life 2's combined smooth together with Castle Wolfenstein's nasty Germans. Yeah, they give Stormtrooper energy, the Hellgas, to me. Like, the cover art for Killzone looks really cool, but then you see them in motion. You hear their silly voices. You see them unable to, like, just do anything. And it's like suddenly now when I look at the cover art for Killzone, it's... You know what it reminds me of looking at the cover art for Killzone? It reminds me of, like, my Shih Tzu when it's, like, growling and trying to look scary. Where it's just like, what are you doing? Like, you're a teddy bear. Like, stop. Like, you're adorable. Nobody's scared of you. Yeah, like that. Like, that's the cover art of Killzone. I'm not scared of that, you know? Bro, you're a teeny. You're an itty bitty. Chill out. Yeah, basically, that's me to my dog. Who's more accurate, Stormtroopers or Hellgas? I'd say Hellgas. Yeah, that's the valve sound, right? Like the Half-Life. Am I crazy? Where am I supposed to go? What's going on? Guy constantly looking around the corner. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Oh, man. Oh, man, they really... They were waiting. They were like, all right, gentlemen. He's gonna come around the corner. You all got your Nazi guns? Oh, no, that guy is fatter than the others. He's a new enemy type. Oh my god, that's another thing that's like... So, Killzone doesn't have, like, aliens, you know? It's just guys in armor. So, it can't have, like, the enemy variety of, like, a franchise like Halo. But that didn't stop Killzone 2 from really trying. So, Killzone 2 basically has, like, Modern Warfare juggernauts, you know? Where it's just, like, a guy in a lot of armor with a minigun. But, like, the game is trying to treat it like it's, you know, like it's a Brumach from Gears of War, or like it's a Hunter from Halo, and they're even like, what is that thing? How do we take it down? That thing wiped out my... It's like, what do you mean thing? It's a guy in armor. Like, I'm sorry, you're not Halo. You're not Gears of War. You don't have a variety of creatures. You just have guys in armor. They're not things. They're not its. Reminder that the ISA and the UCN submitted the Helgans to colonialism and genocide on a planetary scale and exiled them on an unlivable hellscape planet. I mean, yeah. That's them, though, you know? And I guess it also doesn't help that the Helghast have an extremely relatable reason for being pissed. But, like, the game doesn't explore that at all. At all. Like, they look like Nazis, you know? They have glowing red eyes. But then the lore is like, actually, you're the bad guys. It's like, maybe if there was a bit more subtlety, Killzone's world would be interesting, but it's just, you know, it's like, yeah, there's not a lot here, you know? Hey, we got a new gun. It's an MG42. How can you fail to have enemy variety in a science fiction setting? Like, make some cool robots or something instead of dudes in power armor. Didn't they have robot enemies in the second game? They had... Okay, so, you know, Killzone 2 came out many years after Gears of War, and when you play Killzone 2, you can tell that they were big fans of Gears of War, because you play an alpha squad, and all of your guys are buff, muscular men that attempt to have the same kind of, like, Dom, Sniper, Locusts, grub hole. Like, they try to have that same kind of, like, calling things out, you know? Like, Brumach! Like, Killzone 2 wanted to have that as well. So it has, like, you know, the, what is that thing? And then there's this, like, drone that kind of looks like a bee. And they're like, ATAC! It's an ATAC! You know, run! ATAC is here! Like, they're trying so hard to have their own Brumach! And it's like, I'm sorry, Killzone. Nobody remembers the ATAC. Like, you're not gonna have your Brumach. I'm sorry. How far am I into the game? I just had, like, an insanely powerful hit of deja vu. I don't think I'm about to beat the game. No. We haven't met any of the new playable characters. Yeah, and Killzone 2 also tries to diversify the Helghast a little bit by making, like, different units. So they're like, there's these guys with, like, these silly, like, you know, like the silly little, like, what are they called? Those hats, like the ones that look very silly. You know, like the fry cook, like at a burger joint, like those kind of hats that, like, some military officers wear. I'm sorry if anybody right now is serving and that was insanely offensive, but I forgot the name of that kind of hat. And that was the closest analogy I could think of. But, like, some of the Helghasts wear that, and they're supposed to be, like, the medic class or so, like, you know, trying to give, like, the different Helghasts, like, different roles and their own unique silhouettes. But it's like, they're all just guys with guns. And the way that they differentiated their roles is, like, they do really dumb stuff for a sentient living person. Like I told you, one of the guys, one of the classes, he does the elite berserk, where he'll drop his gun and take out a knife. Wait, am I just supposed to go up? Okay. But it makes no sense for like a guy who went through basic training, like even if he's a space Nazi, like he has like a gun with bullets. He's got human physiology, you know, he's not like a rage monster from another planet. Like for a guy to be hit with bullets and get so mad that he throws his loaded gun onto the ground and takes out a very tiny knife and then slowly and clumsily crawls around like a warehouse to try to kill me with the knife. Like, it's just embarrassing, man. How do you make their enemies the heroes when they're called the Hellghast? Well, yeah, it's like, they're called the Hellghast, you know, like Hell Ghost. Like, you're calling them ghasts, and you're saying you're adding hell to the name. Like, you know? You might as well call them, like, the Satan baby killers, you know? Like, they're... But then you want them to be super sympathetic? But you want that to be in the lore. You know, and then, like, some guy says, actually, like, the Killzone franchise has really deep lore. And it's like, no, it doesn't. You know, even the lore doesn't make a lot of sense. I read, like, some of the... I read some of the timeline. Like, the villain of Killzone 3... who, he's great in Killzone 3. Like, I have not played Killzone 3 in over a decade. I still remember him. I still remember him vividly, because he was, like, really good. His backstory makes no sense. It's like, his father owned a massive company and made all of the weapons for the Hellghasts and supported their armies, but his father didn't like the Hellghasts, and he tried to stage a coup, and they stopped it. So he died in obscurity. And then his son got the company, and then kept... It's like, wait. He's a rich weapons manufacturer, but then he died in obscurity? But his company was still there? And his son... Like, what? It's like if Elon Musk said something stupid on Twitter, which he does, and then got canceled, and then Elon Musk died in obscurity. Like, no. What? Like... For some reason in Killzone 2, when you take out the knife, you always do an energy sword, like, slash across the screen twice. Yeah, it's, in Killzone 2, whenever you take out your knife, your guy immediately melees. And I think that that's supposed to be, like, it's supposed to be almost like a panic knife. You know, like, it's probably... I don't know, man, because Killzone 2 already has, like, a melee function, you know? So it's got a melee attack and a knife that you can pull out. They probably just... I don't know. You know, even talking out loud, in my head I thought that it made sense, but now that I say it out loud, I'm like, actually that doesn't make sense. Why does Killzone 2 have 2 melee attack buttons? He got Stalin erased from public records. I don't think so, because his son inherited the company. Like, I think it's, I think the company still has their family name. Like, you know? How do you die in obscurity as a super rich, very wealthy person whose, like, company name is on all of the weapons you have? Like, how do you die in obscurity?
We're gonna have to reload.
To be fair, games like Payday have made distinctive super units out of almost only humanoids. Helps most of them are various entertaining flavors of Psycho. Well, that's because Payday has a sense of humor. Killzone doesn't.
Well.
Oh, here's the, remember the no-nonsense sniper lady? Who's, like, kind of mean, because it's 2004?
I take it you're back on active duty.
You think? Graduated 6 weeks early. It seems I have a talent.
Yeah, one of many. I was meant to meet the general here. Instead, I get a sniper.
4 snipers, actually. Vorton told me to meet you here, too. He said you'd brief me on our mission.
Our mission? Trust the general to put practicalities ahead of
You can
anything else.
be both rightfully angry and be wrong about how you go about it.
Our
Yeah, but
is to recover an operations
I'm trying to think of how to articulate it, because unfortunately
but the general needs this to get
I usually need a day or two to really, like, reminisce on something and think about it and come up with why I'm, you know, it's hard for me to translate some of my deep thoughts into words. It's like Killzone made them the most comically evil people in the world, to the point that they look like Nazis and nothing they do is at all redeemable. Like, they sound like lunatics. And then it says, but actually you're the bad guy. That's, I guess, the best way that I can think about it. If it gave the Hellgas any humanity, then maybe Killzone would have a point.
So we may not get the security key for some time, if at all.
And look at this guy. Look at this guy. He looks like he's from the early 2000s, doesn't he?
No. Do you believe in God? Or have you replaced him with some all-powerful technical device? Well, whatever it is you pray to, I'd start praying now that Vaughn reappears.
Dude, that guy's eyes. Do you believe in God? The only God you bow to are my frosted tips. Okay, so see, we met no-nonsense sniper lady, so now no-nonsense sniper lady is a character you can play as. And then you can see down there are 2 blacked out names. Yeah, that guy is like 7 foot tall. What? Yeah, he's 7 foot tall, and I noticed his head is like way larger than the other guy's head. Like, obviously people have different head sizes, but that, like, it was just so big. I'm remembering that Silent Hill 3 exists, and then no, Killzone doesn't look that great. Yeah, no, like, Killzone don't be fooled by the great, and they are great, first-person view model animations. This game doesn't look that good. Like, there's better games on the PS2. And in the case, just because, you know, Killzone 2 was, like, still looks just so crazy. Like, I fully believe that this game's kind of, like, technical shortfalls are because of the system that they were working on, because of the PS2. Like, I don't think that this game's, like, kind of, like, bad graphics and stuff are because of the developers not knowing what they're doing. I think these developers were, like, a beast that was about to be unleashed, and they just did not. They developed the wrong game for the hardware. Now, unfortunately, you know, as Killzone 2 proved, the technical team, you know, the graphics, art, sound, like, all of those guys, they knew what they were doing. Unfortunately, gameplay, writing, story, music, balancing, sandbox, QA, like, all of that left a little bit to be desired.
Get to the park from there, and find an entrance down to the slums.
Is this on PS3 or EMU? This is the Killzone HD collection. But if you are curious, this is our PCS3, I think it's called. Which I do own a physical copy of the game. Because, you know, this game is adorable. Yeah, it's just, like, stop. There's just, like, no atmosphere. You know? There's no music. There aren't the sounds of soldiers fighting. You know, there isn't ambience or anything. It's just... It's just so empty. You know, and then you hear, like, over here! Like, this, like, really compressed voice that sounds like it's right next to you. Her name's Nasty Pistol? I smell subtle traitor. Wait, her name is really Nasty Pistol? Wait, is that a joke? Is the sniper lady's name Nasty Pistol? I can't remember who is, like, a traitor in this game. Is Killzone the protagonist of PlayStation, like how Halo is the protagonist of Xbox? Yeah, sort of, I think. This is just like a weird period for Sony, man. Like they didn't... So like Sony, you know, PS1, things were going really smooth. PS2, things were going really, really smooth. But near the end of the PS2, like, you know, Silent Hill was never really Sony's. And Jak and Daxter, like, that didn't seem to be a thing that was happening very much anymore. And then the PS3 came around, and there just like, wasn't anything there. Like, no iconic franchises on... You know, PlayStation didn't have anything. Like, it had, what, Killzone? Like, Xbox has Halo and Gears of War, and you have Killzone? And so Sony was just kind of like doing anything they could, like to have, like, you know, their tentpole franchises. God of War seemed like all right, but it was kind of like a weird, desperate time where they were just like, anything, Haze, Resistance, like, please, we need more games. And then Naughty Dog, you know, did Uncharted, and that was like a big success. And then, you know, we got a couple more Uncharteds, then The Last of Us, and then it seemed like from there, Sony kind of realized what the format was. Like, everybody is going to be making these super expensive, highly polished third-person adventures. Where am I supposed to go? Am I supposed to kill, like, a kill zone? Oh, yeah, there's still some alive over there. Any more? Is that it? I was impressed with Killzone Mercenary on the PS Vita in terms of mobile graphics, but still lack of story and lore, as you mentioned. Yeah, the Killzone games, just none of them are like anything to write home about story-wise. Killzone 3 is the closest, I'd say. In terms of, like, maybe having a story. Just because with Killzone 3, you get, like, a look kind of at their government. Because you've got, like, the bad guy, who is played by a famous actor. I forgot who played him, but, you know, fantastic work. And then you kind of get the impression that, like, you know, this Killzone planet is really just Germany in the 1940s in outer space. Like, they even kind of have, like, their own, like, inner circle of loyalists. And at the end of Killzone 2, don't worry, like, nobody cares about Killzone's story. You kill Space Hitler, and so his loyalists basically are all fighting for power in the third game. And the loyalists were a lot of fun. They just looked like, you know, space Nazis. But they all had British accents. And I very much remember the Space Hitler. Space Hitler, instead of like the Chancellor, you know, he's called the Autarch in Killzone, because I remember the super big bad of Killzone 3. He would constantly be yelling about that. I'm elected the new Autarch. And they all have British accents. The Killzone planet, or the Helghast planet, is populated exclusively by folks from the UK. Which I think that's fun. I grew up with Star Wars, you know. I'm used to villains having very posh accents. And then Killzone Shadowfall, like, for some reason, I think that was, like, genuinely a controversy at the time. Where it was like, this is offensive. Why are all the British people, like, space Nazis? And then for Killzone Shadowfall, they gave all the space Nazis American accents. So now just everybody sounds like an American. And it was a lot less fun. I like the space Nazis having, like, the silly British accents. It makes them come off more like the Empire. Wait, are we the bad guys or are they the bad guys? I'm confused. Yeah, that's kind of Killzone, right? So in Killzone's lore, the Killzones or the Helghast or something, they are the descendants of miners who were kind of like forced to settle a planet that was not suitable for life, and kind of like basically they were like miners, and then it was like, hey, you guys now have to just like live on this shitty planet and breathe these toxic gases. And so multiple generations of these miners like got madder and madder that they were forced to live on, you know, dumpy Killzone planet. And then they became Nazis and were like, we hate the guys who put us here. Oh, and here's another thing. So Earth exists, but like Earth is not important. Like, so Vecta is the like, if Vecta falls, we're all doomed. So I guess like Earth isn't that important. The planet of Vecta is now. I don't know.
It's not going to be a walk in the park.
Yeah, so it's like technically you are playing as the bad guys, but like look at them. Like look at them, you know? And, like, the game goes out of its way to ensure that everything you see the Helghast do is, like, very evil and very naughty and very, very Nazi-like. You know, and they literally have, like, the trope of, like, the bad guys have British accent. Like, they are the bad guys. But the game wants you to feel like, oh my god, what if we're the bad guys? It's like, no. No, I think the Nazis yelling, kill them! Like, they're the bad guys. Yeah, just very confusing IP. I feel like if someone were to ever give me Killzone and tell me to reboot the Killzone franchise, the way that you would reboot it is you'd remake the first game, not like a 1-to-1 remake. I mean, like develop a new video game, and you would probably like. This looks pretty good, right? This looks all right. I like the cherry blossoms here. But what I would probably do is, you've got Invasion of Vecta, I guess, if we want to keep Vecta. I would probably just make it Earth, to be honest. But you'd have the invasion of, I'll just say Earth. You'll get the invasion of Earth by these, like, angry Killzones, you know, who were kind of, like, forced to grow up on this terrible planet. And they're very angry at you for very correct reasons, but they were radicalized by the older generation who harbor the anger from, you know, their older generation. And you would have a story played from two sides. One would be, like, you'd basically swap. One mission, you'd be, like, a good guy, and then the other mission, you play as a Hellgast. And you would see from the other side that, like, the young Hellgast generation are, like, this planet is one that kind of, like, you're kind of, like, abused into line, you know, and everybody is kind of radicalized around these symbols and images and, like, remember, don't forget the anger, don't forget the hatred. Like, we can never move on, we can never build a society. We're just always angry at them. And then maybe at some point, you can have, like, a reveal that both sides, or maybe defectors on both sides, like secret corrupt generals for the Killzones and the humans, like, maybe, like, two characters are secretly talking over comms and they're colluding to, like, set off a bomb or something, and it'll do some, like, profity war thing, allow, like, the war to continue, but in a way that it would allow these two corrupt generals from each side of the conflict to, like, directly, like, some weird bullshit like that, so that, like, our space Nazi character and then our good guy character have to, like, work together to stop this, and both of them coming to understand the situation from each other's side. That's probably the way that I would handle, like, if you were to reboot the Killzone franchise, that's probably how I would do it. The sins of the father, yeah. And heavily, heavily focus on the fact that, like, you know, the Hellgast, like, make sure that the younger generation stays angry. What is this thing? Oh, this thing's like a cool minigun. Okay, the sniper lady you're playing as is named Luger, a pistol prominently used by nasty Germans. She feels like a super subtle hint that she's a traitor. Maybe. I haven't played this game in ages. I know that there is a traitor. I feel like I'm going... Oh. Come here. What is going on? Okay. Boop, boop. Yeah, that's like totally the Valve sound. What are your expectations for the next Halo game? Oh, man. So I'm expecting campaign, based off, like, you know, the rumors that are happening right now. I'm expecting what's probably going to happen is 343 is going to handle story and multiplayer very differently. I'm expecting the next game, like mainline game, is going to be kind of almost split up, if that makes any sense. The single-player stuff probably will be those the Combat Evolved remake we're hearing about. And then as far as multiplayer goes, it will probably be some kind of like crazy, big-budget battle royale type thing with lots of players, like a live service platform. I am expecting that that's the direction they're going to go in. So you've got your multiplayer Halo that you go play, and it has its gameplay and stuff, and then you get, like, single-player releases. Where are we supposed to go? Traverse the park. Okay.
Good work, boys.
I've been getting the impression that the Hellgasts are humans whose homeworld has mutated them beyond being humans, a la Gears of War's locusts. It's not quite that. It's not quite that. Like, their bodies have adapted, you know? but they're not locusts. Like, they are still, like, people. I guess it's kind of like, do you guys remember that, the sci-fi show, The Expanse? What are they called? The people that, like, the generations of people that grew up in outer space, so they're a little bit taller than people who were raised on Earth. And their limbs are a little bit longer as well because, you know, they grew up in, like, 0G. Belters, that's what they're called. Like, they're a bit like belters, where it's like they are still definitely humans. But it's just their physiology is adapted a little bit. Like, please, what are the Endless, please? I know, I would like to know what the Endless are, but I just... So somebody asked about Gears of War as well. Gears of War is interesting, and if... So Microsoft is doing this supposed Combat Evolved remake, and if that is true, we've also got Gears of War E-Day, which is a prequel set during the time you like. It's got Marcus Phoenix, the guy you like, and there's also Dom, like all your favorites. We'll probably see Baird. We probably won't see Coltrane. But, like, you know, it's the stuff you liked, set during a prequel, during the time period you liked, fighting the enemies you liked. Halo is doing a remake of the game you liked, with the characters you liked, in the time period, fighting the enemies you liked. It seems like Microsoft is getting all of their, like, popular franchises to basically be like, guys, come on, get the remakes going, get the prequels going. Nostalgia. Come on, guys. And Gears of War is now on a bit of a hiatus because, you know, they want people to be like, guys, remember Dom? You like Dom, right? And it seems like Halo might be doing kind of the same thing. So I don't know. I'm sure we'll eventually learn what the Endless are, but I'm getting the feeling that we're probably going to be in remake territory for a little bit. Like, there isn't a lot of, like, confidence in the narrative aspects of Halo right now. As well as Gears of War, so it's just, you know, in the meantime, pump out the remakes or the prequels. Oh, they're over there. Okay. Okay, let's see if we can get that guy. There he is. Is he going to shoot me? No, he's not going to shoot me. All right. Killzone was supposed to be sci-fi Medal of Honor, not Halo. Well, I guess in that aspect it also failed. I thought Infinite Story was good. Not sure how people really feel about it now. Oh yeah, no, Infinite Story was good. It's not about, like, the you know, Halo community, like, screaming and raging, and they're like, buh. I don't think that has a factor in why it seems like Halo Infinite Story is kind of not going to be going anywhere for the time being. I think it's more about the financials. I think just, like, Halo Infinite was too expensive to make for what it brought in, and the scale of it was just a bit much. And now it seems like they're kind of like, all right, well, if you guys are going to put this much money into your games, like, we want a little bit more, and a remake of Halo 1 would probably make a lot more money than a sequel to Halo Infinite Story. And that's not about the quality of Halo Infinite Story. That's just about nostalgia sells, you know? I'm trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go. I feel like I'm playing Halo 1 for the first time. Where am I supposed to go? Where am I? What are we doing? Traverse the park. It was too expensive to make. Infinite shop. Well, see, that's the funny thing. Halo Infinite, the reason that the shop is being so bonkers right now is because the shop is not making money, you know? Like, if the shop was making money, you guys would probably see more sandbox inclusions, more, like, healthy, regular updates. But because just nothing is happening and it's only shop stuff, you know, microtransactions, that means not a lot of people are buying. Infinite Story was insufferable to me. The sidekick killed me out of cringe. Oh, no. I like the pilot. I like him a lot. He's probably my favorite Halo character since the Bungie days. He felt kind of like a Bungie era like character. Like, great design, unique voice. I also like the twist that he was not even a pilot. He was just a civilian who stole a Pelican. Yeah, hater, says my wife. Yeah, the pilot's great. Fernando Esparza is an awesome character. I really like him. And you didn't like the weapon either. I thought the weapon was fine. Like, she wasn't as, like, funny as Cortana could be in, like, Halo 1 or Halo 2. You know how, like, Cortana's, like, interesting, like, these ruins, blah, 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 and she's just, like, rattling off, and she's like, oh, sorry, were you trying to kill something? Like, the weapon didn't have, like, that dry sense of humor like that. But I liked the weapon's, like, naivete, and that it was kind of like Cortana's a baby. You know, and that's not to say every joke landed, okay? Because there were plenty of jokes that were just kind of like, welp. But also I chalk that up to the fact that, like, Halo Infinite is an open world game. And so there is a lot more dialogue than previous Halo games. Because the game is just longer. It takes longer to beat. So you're going to hear a lot more talking. So the risk of jokes not landing are going to be higher. Like, I thought the joke for the weapon in Halo Infinite where Escharum, you know, shows up for his hologram. I think it's like the third time or something that his hologram shows up, or twice in the AA gun mission, where he's just, like, yelling at you and then he goes away. And I liked that on the second time or whatever, or third time, by the time it became, like, a pattern, the weapon is just like, okay, thank you, bye. Like, she... You know, Escharum gives this very dangerous speech about how much he's going to smash in Master Chief's face, and the weapon's like, okay, bye, good to see you. Like, that was pretty good. Dude, what? Where is the atmosphere? Like, I guess this is supposed to be like a crazy big battle. But, like, that happens, and now we're back to just silence. Like, that's kind of Killzone in a nutshell, you know? You're constantly being told over the radio how crazy things are, but, like, from where I'm sitting, it's just really quiet. Oh, no! There they are! Also, that bloop sound comes from Halo Combat Evolved, specifically the pop-up messages in multiplayer for remaining time, players joining on PC and the like. Interesting! Is it a stock sound effect? The pilot from Infinite reminded me of Echo 419. Oh, well, Echo 419 didn't have, like, a character. The pilot does. And that's not a criticism, by the way, okay? Not everybody needs to be a super fleshed out character. But yeah, it was nice to kind of have, like, the guy in the Pelican, you know? If it was snowing or raining, the fog would make sense. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, man. Like Killzone 2, its art direction is pretty iconic because you go to the Helghast homeworld and you kind of see that it looks like a nightmare hell world. But I feel like for this game, like having it set on Earth or like Earth, not Earth, like the fog doesn't make a lot of sense, you know? I would say like maybe this game should have been set on like the gassy stinky like mining world where the Helghast are from. But then, you know, what would they do for Killzone 2? And Killzone 2 is nothing if not like at least an achievement in like art direction and technology. What are they shooting at? The AA gun can't see a thing. Yeah. Vecta needs more ambient music and sound. Yeah, there's no atmosphere, no attempt to craft an atmosphere of any kind. Do you think they will ever continue Master Chief when Steve Downes dies? Oh, that's hard to say. It's Microsoft, so they might use AI. Microsoft is very, very keen on AI stuff right now. I'd hope that they'd recast Steve Downes. Like, if he passes, you know.
Fun during your training?
What? Like beach volleyball and cocktail parties?
No. I mean, did you make any new friends?
Are you asking me if I got laid?
What?
What is this, man?
Gee,
What's that?
what's what?
That.
Shit. Okay. Any ideas?
These won't touch it.
Uh-huh.
There's no way round.
Okay, just keep your head down.
Oh, God. Oh, God, here we go. Okay. All right, guys, we have the no-nonsense sniper lady who has romantic awkward tension with John Killzone, because, you know, 2004 game. Now we've got the Latino guy who doesn't read and doesn't know who Shakespeare is. This dialogue is awful. Yeah. Like, this is, like, really bad. Like, I think of, like, Halo Combat Evolved and how, like, witty its dialogue was and how snappy its dialogue was. And just, like, how well casted it was. You know, like, all the voice actors were doing so good. Like, Cortana and Guilty Spark arguing in the control room. You know, like, you can just sit there and float and sputter and, like, Master Chief, like, getting between them and being like, enough!
What are we waiting for?
And then it's like, you cut to this? Like, this is trash can dialogue. Like, to quote my wife. I mean, she didn't say trash can dialogue, but that's my favorite insult she's ever used, is describing something as trash can. Timu Dom. Yeah, he's Timu Dom from Gears of War. Did you see his gun? His gun was going off before he even pointed it at me. He got so scared he started shooting the ground. Well, you do what? Go down with the ship? In a manner of speaking. Yeah, and then you cut to this, where it's just, like, are you asking me if I got laid? No, lady. I'm I'm awkward. God. And then you got the Helghast, which are just screaming like the same the same 3 voice lines over. Kill them. Die. Get them. To be fair, Mario got a new voice actor, and it seemed like a pretty smooth transition in spite of what the few Sonic tier VA grading whiners would suggest. Yeah, I'd say probably a majority of people don't know that Mario got a new voice actor. Unfortunately, I am a Sonic tier voice actor grading whiner, so I don't think Mario sounds right in the new Mario game. Specifically when he says, wonderful! Where it's just like, whoa, what the fuck? That doesn't sound like Mario. But all the, wah, yaha, wahee! Like, all of those were, like, on point for the new guy. And he's only gonna get better as time goes on. I guess what I'm salty about is, I wanna know why Nintendo fired Charles Martinet. Because everything seems to suggest that Charles Martinet did not just decide he wanted to retire from voice acting. He seemed kind of surprised by the decision. Why are the trees so beautiful? It doesn't suit the aesthetic of this. Yeah. Well, what I think they were trying to do is they realized how ugly, like, the game looked. And the first level was, like, Battlefield Wasteland. Second level was Battlefield City Wasteland. And then they were like, oh god, we gotta do something, you know, like to... Because we can't do another Battlefield Wasteland in another city. I don't know, shove trees?
Right here, sir. But the command base is lost.
What's the situation out there now?
Messy. We had trouble getting here. If it hadn't been for this guy...
Sergeant Rico Velasquez, sir.
Well, Sergeant, it seems these two owe you,
It's the enemy who owe me, not these two. The Hellgas scum wiped out
AI
my
is...
platoon. They'll be paying off that debt in blood for as long as I breathe. Sir.
I see. Well, a useful man to have at your side, Yan?
Absolutely, sir.
Sergeant?
Don't worry about the voice sync. I think it's a problem with the emulator. I don't remember the actual game on my PS3 being like this.
An assassin.
Shadow Marshal.
This mission, it's gonna hurt the Hellgas.
Very much so.
I'm in.
Okay. I'll go up to General Adams on the SD platform as planned. You three, find Colonel...
AI. I see everybody starting to talk about AI and stuff. Yeah. AI's in this, like, weird situation, but, like, I genuinely don't think that you guys will have to worry about it taking jobs, because the cracks are starting to show. And I think in most areas, AI will eventually... Like, people will realize that AI has problems, and AI isn't very good at catching itself when it makes a mistake. Here, we'll play as Rico for a bit and see what he's about. As far as, like, art, you know, AI art is concerned, like, there are objective issues with AI art. You know, number one being AI art is not original. It copies from other people's work and traces their work into itself and makes a composite of a bunch of different things. And on top of that, it lacks soul, you know? So what is happening in the art world, at least for games, is, like, I think, like, studios are starting to realize that, like, AI art is not actually a substitute for art direction. And they are now using art more as an assistant tool for real artists. Rico's gun is pretty cool. This is the gun from Aliens, right? Oh, I'm seeing. Hey, I'm watching the stream from the beginning. You can set the Helldivers to DX 11. By the way, helps a lot with lower power rigs. I have a 1060 GTX and I run the game at 60 FPS on low to mid settings. Interesting. Okay. If you eventually get up here, I'd be curious to hear if you use any of the upscaling stuff, because I don't think the upscaling stuff looks very good on, you know, like lower resolutions. Like, I think it ends up making the game look very fuzzy and very blurry and kind of weird. So I'd be curious to hear, like, what your image quality is like if you use any of the upscalers stuff. Here, let's check out this pistol. Oh, is this weird pistol? Oh no, this is a new pistol. What is this? Oh, it's a burst. It's an algorithm, but the issue it has on the younger generation is a problem. It's taking away hardworking students and replacing them with ChatGPT. This could cause a real wake-up call. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, you know, my mom is a teacher, and the stories that I hear from her, I could definitely understand some of the concerns, I guess. Definitely education is a problem. Yeah, we found this little pistol here, but I think I think that you have to always keep your pistol, if I remember right. No, okay, you can throw your pistol away. Okay, in Killzone 2, you're forced to carry a pistol with you at all times. Because I think that what they're trying to do is they want you to have kind of like the trusty sidearm. But as a result, you're kind of always locked into one gun. Hello, LNG. Just got home from work and joined the stream. How's your day been? It's been pretty good. How was your day at work? We are playing Killzone, which is not a great game, but it existed. Past tense. It's me, late night gaming here. My dad was horrible. My day was horrible. I have to play Killzone. Okay. I play PS2 Slim and it is very blurry. Killzone? Yeah, Killzone, I heard, like, so this is running relatively smoothly. You know, like no real frame rate issues. But I heard, like, Killzone on the actual PS2, like, not the HD remaster, like, the original release of the game was, like, really, really messy. Like, really, really rough. Has anyone played both Killzone and Resistance? Oh, I've played Resistance. I really like Resistance 1. Resistance 2, though, that wasn't great. I didn't like Resistance 2 at all. Which seems to have been the sentiment for Resistance fans. Like, I don't think anybody really liked Resistance 2 that much. And then Resistance 3 was, like, sadly... Man. Resistance 3 was a Half-Life 2 clone. Which was so confusing. I'll wait until I see a CE remake proper before casting judgment, but I have zero confidence in one of any sort. CE's gameplay was lightning in a bottle that only Infinite had come close to emulating. Yeah, I'm not, you know, and because you are going to be remaking it, you're going to be wanting to make it very different, and it's the making it different that worries me. Like, Halo 1 has such a specific way that it plays, like the pacing of its levels, the sense of exploration. And if you were to just, like, dramatically change the way it plays, like, even something as simple as adding a battle rifle, BR-75, to Halo 1 would just completely change the way combat works. And then you'd have to retune everything. Maybe a new weapon slot would open up, a new role that needs to be filled, so you'd add that. Enemies need to be retuned, levels need to be made longer, maybe throw in sprint, aiming down the side, like, and before you know it, you've really, really changed how Halo 1 is. And I guess if you're careful, you could end up with something like Resident Evil 2, where it is very different from the original game. But it was still a great game in its own right. You know, and as a reimagining of the original Resident Evil 2, it proved, you know, it had a convincing argument for why it deserved to exist, in spite of its differences. So maybe that could happen with a Combat Evolved remake. I'm just very worried. Resistance 2 and 2009 Killzone 2, sequels that wanted to kill any fun you had from the first game. Yeah, Resistance 2, see, so Killzone is kind of like bumbling, you know, is the best way I can describe the whole franchise, where it's kind of like cute and innocent almost. Resistance is a little bit more sad, where Resistance 1 was kind of like a mess. They didn't know what kind of game they were making. It was like a hybrid of all sorts of different things. And it ended up coming out, and it looked like a PS2. Honestly, Resistance 2 looks like, or Resistance 1 looks like this game. It looks like a game that came from the PS2, just with big environments, you know, because of the PS3. But it was like a World War II game. Also like Killzone, but it was literally set during World War II. And it was like, what if, instead of Nazis, what if like an alien virus came from outer space and began turning people into monsters that made guns and weapon factories and like made their own technology somehow? And that was basically the plot of Resistance 1, is you've got like this alien virus that's turning people into evil aliens, and they're taking over the globe. And so you're fighting World War II against these aliens. And then Resistance 2 is like modern warfare. Like, suddenly Resistance 2, there are high-tech helicopters, like holographic night vision, like super high-tech stuff, and like they just dropped the World War II aesthetic completely. And they also changed up the gameplay very significantly. Resistance 1 had a weapon wheel, and then Resistance 2, they just got rid of the weapon wheel, and you had to use, it was just two weapons, you know, like Call of Duty, like regenerating health, 2-weapon limit, super modern high-tech equipment, and it's not a World War II game anymore, and it was just like really confusing. And it turned off a lot of people, because it was like, what the hell is this? I signed up for like D-Day with aliens, you know? And then for Resistance 3, it was just, they made a Half-Life clone. They even had the Ravenholm level in Resistance 3, and it's just like, well, this doesn't feel like Resistance 1. It doesn't feel like Resistance 2. What is this? It's just a trilogy of games. Each one feels different, plays different, and is just like a different time period. I don't know. It's very confusing. Resistance is very sad. I actually really liked Resistance 3. I'll have to replay Resistance 3, because I just remember as a big fan of Resistance 1, Resistance 2 pissed me off so much because of how it dropped what I was promised, you know, the World War II with aliens. And so with Resistance 3, I was in a bad mood playing through it. I felt like I was, like, lied to, you know? And so maybe I didn't give the game a fair shake. Kill him! Yeah. Ah, the good old Hellgast. That looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. This, like, the lighting in there, the drop ship swooping in, really good animations, the ropes and stuff, you know, that was great. Like, this level looks pretty good, all things considered. You know, Rico's a lot of fun to play as. I like his minigun. LNG, have you ever played BioShock? Yeah! BioShock 1 is one of my favorite games. BioShock 2 is... BioShock Infinite, I liked a lot when I was younger. But as I've grown older, there are some problems that I have with it. And now I don't think I like it quite as much. What do you think of an idea of a movie like Halo 1, but with the style of Terminator? Explain. Have you tried that CE mod on Halo 3 graphics? Oh, the one where it's like Halo 3 Evolved? Yeah, I tried that out. It was actually pretty cool. LNG, have you seen videos that use AI-generated images to see what Halo as an 80s sci-fi film would look like? No, because I think that that's like low effort trash. You know, like somebody spent like 2 minutes doing that and then uploaded a video and gets millions and millions of views. And I think that that's like, it's like offensive, I guess, as a content creator. Like, no talent was there. You know, this guy didn't realize this himself. He didn't have anything interesting to say. It's not a joke. It's not a meme. It's just, it's like low-effort view farming. So those videos where it's like X, but in the 60s, or X, but in the 70s, I make a point to not watch those videos because I don't want to be rewarding the... I don't want to be another person in the algorithm feeding those videos views because I don't want to reward bad behavior. And I hope those videos eventually stop getting views because they're just low-effort trash. If you want to see what Halo looks like in the 80s, I would love an artist to actually do that. You know, make a video or make an image and spend time on it. I'm more concerned about mechanics like ally gun swapping being backported. Oh, God, yeah. Full honesty, I'm not a fan of, or it's easily abused, dominant strats. Yeah, it's stuff like that. I don't think that a Combat Evolved remake is going to be like... I think it's going to be closer to like Resident Evil 2, where they just like redevelop the game into a new video game. It'll probably be closer to that. So whatever mechanics are introduced, the game itself will be so different and built around them that it'll almost be like you won't even feel like you're playing the first Halo game, you know? It'll feel like a completely new video game set during the events of the first Halo game. Does BioShock have any stealth in it? Like, can I play it somewhat like Dishonored with guns or no? Not really. BioShock 1, I mean, it does... Some levels are built around stealth, but for the most part, the game is definitely a lot more, like, action-y. If you want something that's kind of like that but stealthy, you should go with Prey 2017. That game is incredible. Another really, really good game, if you want stealth, is Deus Ex. It really wants me to pick up a sniper rifle. Yeah, okay, I guess I'll get the sniper rifle. This level looks great for a PS2 game. Burial at Sea Head stealth. Sort of. I'd barely call Burial at Sea stealth. It was more like enemies have horse blinders on, and they are spawned with their backs facing you when you enter a room. You know? It was... You could tell that BioShock Infinite was not developed for stealth mechanics, and that they were kind of like hacked in to Burial at Sea. Yep, I love Deus Ex, both Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. Okay. Trying to think of others then. Thief. Thief is pretty good. Thief is almost like the OG. And the original Deus Ex. If you haven't played it, I'd recommend it. And in fact, to be fun, because Deus Ex is an old game, so you will have to kind of get used to the fact the game doesn't look very modern. Do what I did for Deus Ex 1. What I actually did was I got into the mood. I played the game at sub-HD resolution, not in ultra-wide. Obviously there are quality of life mods that I downloaded, but I tried to, like, really get the game kind of looking like a game of the era, fuzzy, kind of out of focus a little bit. Then I used reshade, injected a bit of sharpening so I could see a little bit better and stuff, and it set a tone for me. I really enjoyed my playthrough of the first Deus Ex. Playing it a bit retro style. Imagine a stop-motion scarab like the AT-AT. Dude, that would be freaking cool. That would be so cool. Seeing a stop-motion AT-AT, or scarab walker. Dude, I really hope that we're gonna see somebody in the next decade make a movie with the technology that was used back in the 80s for movies. I mean, obviously, maybe not the technology, but for visual effects. Like, deliberately handicapping themselves around having to use things like stop motion, for big objects, miniatures and stuff. Like, very minimal visual effects. Like, if you want to have a big, expansive shot, you got to use matte paintings. I wish I could play Splinter Cell. I only have the PS4 and PS5, and none of them are on that platform. Huh, okay. Trying to think. You could go to a used game store and get yourself, I guess, an old console. But, not everybody is made out of money. How's your PC? Is it decent? What if Killzone was released on the original Xbox bundled with Halo 2 and 1 month of Xbox Live back then? I think if Killzone as is was bundled with Halo 2 on the Xbox, no changes, people would probably agree that Halo 2 is a much better game, but there definitely would be comparisons made between the quality of first-person view model animations. You know, and who knows, maybe graphics, because Halo 2 was not a looker. I mean, if we were like tiny babies, you know, then Halo 2 was like the coolest looking game in the world. I mean, I know because I remember. But for more adult audiences, I think there was a sentiment at the time that Halo 2 did not look quite as good as its competitors. Hey LNG, didn't I tell you about my plan to get into Hollywood and make an actual Halo movie? You did tell me about that. How's that plan going? My local retro store is selling PS2s for $110, bruh. No. No. You are being ripped off, okay? There is a store called eStarland. And they do ship. Thankfully, I live in the Washington, D.C. area, so I am within driving distance of eStarland. But they also do ship online, and they, from my wife and I, something we love to do when things get really tough and we need, you know, like a mental health day, we go to eStarland, and we look at all the fun little goodies. So eStarland, check that out, and you'll probably see consoles that are more affordable. And eStarland, out of all the retro stores that we've explored, eStarland has been the best quality, best prices, best quality, and they also do trade-ins, and I think even mail trade-ins. And they will give you more than GameStop. Love E! Oh, man. That reminds me, my wife got a Switch game, but her Switch Lite is currently, like, the battery is borked, and so it is draining extraordinarily fast. eStarland also does console repairs, and so we're going to have to get her Switch fixed. But in the meantime, I've got to figure out a solution for her so that she can play her adorable game. We have 3 Nintendo Switch consoles. I'll probably have to find her other one and charge it up for her so she can play it tonight. Because I want her to... She hasn't... So sadly, you know, since her mother passed away about a month and a half ago, she hasn't played games. Because, you know, understandable. And the fact that she's starting to look at games, that's exciting to me. And so I want to do whatever I can to make sure that she's comfortable and that she's having fun while she plays games. All right, guys, I got it. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory is on the 3DS. No. Do not buy Splinter Cell Chaos Theory for the 3DS. That is like one of those notoriously bad ports. I mean, if you are desperate, and I mean desperate, if you are desperate, then I won't stop you, but please, I beg of you.
What the hell? Enemy spotted.
Dude, where am I in the game? I know, I'm just joking. Oh, thank God. Okay. When I make said Halo movie, I plan on using digital effects and CGI to a near minimum and go all out with the puppets and stop motion. That is freaking awesome, dude. That is great to hear. Hell, if you want to, if you got an iPhone or something, you know, iPhone camera quality's pretty good. If you got any Halo toys, you could probably get started now on learning the ins and outs of stop motion. Make your own little test videos and upload them to YouTube. Sorry to hear about you guys' loss. Yeah, appreciate that, Clayton. That's very kind of you to say. Yeah. If you guys ever see those pink ribbons, you know, breast cancer awareness stuff, just keep Rebecca in your thoughts. You know, you don't think that it's going to happen to you or someone you love until it does. And then suddenly you begin to notice everyone around you has also gone through it. Splinter Cell Chaos Theory has a banging soundtrack. It does. It does. Dude, Splinter Cell Chaos Theory's soundtrack is so good. That was great looking for a PS2 game. Did you see that? Yeah, Killzone's like production value is so inconsistent. It goes from looking like really pretty impressive sometimes to looking astonishingly bad. Oh boy. Yes, yes, kill him. They're still yelling and screaming. You looking for something? Oh, I love you. She's just looking pretty. She showed up behind me. I have a few stop-motion animations. I haven't released or finished them, but it's helped a lot with broadening my horizons with filmmaking. That's good to hear, man. Keep experimenting on your own, okay? Oh, boy. Me when kill him. Yeah, oh man, these guys, like, their voices are like seared into my brain, just like the repetitive dialogue. God. Man down! Kill him! They've got me pinned down, he says out in the open with no cover. Brah! Sounds like my little brother when he jumps around the corner. What is actually very cool now is, I guess, like, just because of the nature of the internet, resources are more available to people than they used to be back during the early days of the internet. I remember when the idea of, like, a video game fan movie was, like, some guys out in the park with, like, Halloween costumes, you know? In fact, there's this famous Link Legend of Zelda movie that was fan done, and it basically was that. And it was considered, like, insanely good at the time because that's how low the bar was, because it was the early days of the internet. But now, like, fan movies are a lot easier to do than they used to. Like, it's easier to connect with people who can make props. It's easier to connect with people who have camera and film equipment, writers, and stuff. And, you know, video editing is a lot easier than it used to be, too. So even if that Halo movie never gets made in Hollywood, you could probably be the person who uploads the best Halo fan movie on YouTube. Remember Red vs. Blue episodes? Those were so good. Of course. Of course. I wasn't too big into Red vs. Blue, though, around the time when they started introducing, like, CGI and the story got, like, a little bit crazy. Oh, boy, I think I'm starting to get lost. What am I doing? What's the objective? Rescue Colonel Haka? Oh, here we go. Let's go this way. There was a fan movie called Metal Gear Philanthropy. That's fun. Metal Gear has silly names. Oh boy. Okay, let's go hide over here. How do I get more gun how do I get more gun ammo? How do I get more ammo for Rico's silly big gun? What is going on? What the hell is going on? What was that? Here, let's try that again. What the hell is that? Killzone be like, where the hell is that music? Yeah, Killzone is a quiet game. Awkwardly quiet. Man, I'm gonna have to do a... Oh boy. I'm gonna have to do a big autism deep dive on this game's production. Because stuff like the music, like just no music at all in any of the levels, is so weird because the game already struggles with like sound design, and like music can really make up for that, for like a lack of an atmosphere. So it's just like weird that there's just there's no music. Oh, here he is. Here's the traitor for the hell gas. Random question. If we were to add Master Chief into Smash Bros., how would you go about it? Bonus. What would you change for an Arbiter Echo Fighter?
Well, it's him all right. We got the right guy.
You Hellgast?
Half Hellgast, half human. I don't want to fucking imagine how that works.
And you know who we are?
I imagine you're here to take me away.
Your name's Hacker.
Yes,
Whose side are you on, Hacker?
my side.
Shit. We'll see what side is on when I've got this baby shoved up his papa's.
Oh my god. Yeah, see, so that's our new character. He's fun. I like him. Oh, we're back to the guy with the crazy hair. Random... Yeah, okay, Master Chief in Smash Bros. How would you go about it? Master Chief, I definitely think probably you'd want to go with, like, Halo 2 Master Chief. Because I'm just imagining, like, Gun Fu with the dual-wield SMGs. You know, like, he's got the two SMGs, he's dual-wielding them. You could punch, you could kick and stuff, but lots of, like, you know, firing the dual SMGs in close range as attacks, shooting people up into the air with the dual SMGs and stuff, doing backflips, and a lot of stuff like that is how I would imagine Master Chief. And if it were Arbiter, I mean, you could probably do the boring thing, which is use the energy sword. Yeah, Master Chief would probably also use a lot of like equipment throughout the Halo series. I'm trying to think. He probably... Would you use Reach's jetpack for kind of like the super elevated jumps, or would you do a grappling hook with limited range?
Instructions are to get Haka off Vecta as soon as. That means heading for the fortress and putting him on the next shuttle out of here.
Fortress, huh? We're gonna need a boat. We'd better head for the docks.
Great. Seasickness. It's bad enough having to look at this.
No music because they wanted it to be realistic. Oh, man. Here we go. Yeah, just writing's not very good. Latino man is angry and dumb. He's a gorilla, monkey, angry boy. And then the British man is posh and well-educated. Like, this stuff is just so...
We have company.
They have a tank.
So outdated. Yeah, it turns into a generic zombie horde experience. Oh, for the Flood? Yeah, the Flood, they, The Flood and Halo 1, I think, are probably the weakest aspect of that game. Like, I enjoy them because I'm a Halo fan. But, like, I'm not gonna say that they're the most riveting enemy to fight against. I think the Flood weren't fun until probably Halo 3. Because that's when they were kind of the most dynamic. Like, you know, they'd like mutate. You've got the pure forms. They'd change forms and stuff. Like, that was cool. You could blow off their arms, their legs, their heads. And it was also cool seeing, like, living creatures get infected. Yeah, but we got a knife now, which is cool. The Helghast are bad, and they're bald. Yeah. They swear like middle schoolers, literally for the sake of sounding big and strong. We tough guys, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it is like that. It is like that. And Killzone 2 gets a lot worse. To the point that one of the things that they said when advertising Killzone 3 is that they got better writers and toned down the swearing. Ugh, that was terrible. Wow, okay, guys, I found the bad animation. Halo 2's Flood had the creepiest form in their segments. Like the actual designs of the Halo 2 Flood. Yeah, the Halo 2 Flood looked pretty cool. Yeah, the Halo 2 actual designs for the combat forms are probably the coolest. But
We'll take cover while you check out
their combat, I think, was possibly even less fun than Halo 1's, if that's possible.
We have to catch up. We're going as fast as we can, sir.
It's all down to that, like, something that changed between Halo 1 and Halo 2 that really bothers me a lot is the lack of stumbling and recoil when you hit unshielded targets. You know, the way they'd flinch and trip and stumble. Halo 2 just doesn't have, like, any of that. And I actually learned recently, it's one of those things where it's like, I can't believe that I didn't notice it before, but it makes so much sense, is when you stick a character in Halo 2, they don't do that, like, get it off animation before they start running around and panicking. They just immediately start running around panicking. And it's apparently because of a bug. I'd probably emulate Halo 2's multiplayer weapon hunting. Chief starts with a basic loadout that he can upgrade with stage-placed weapons. He'd have Nicole 458's CQC moves for normal guns and abilities and specials. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's a clever idea, trying to emulate Halo's gameplay loop as a Smash character of trying to find stuff. I don't know, maybe if you're Master Chief, a passive ability that happens in the stage is Halo weapons just start dropping randomly, like all over the stage. You know, kind of like how the item drops happen, only for when you're playing as Master Chief, the odds of them being Halo weapons are maximized. Or maybe even their weapons only Master Chief can pick up. Oh, that was better. That animation was better. Where was that earlier? Have his jump be floaty. Oh, yes. Yeah, have the jump be floaty. Very moon bouncy. Okay, here's a question. Would his shield be armor lock from Halo Reach, or would it be the Halo 3 bubble shield from the Starry Night trailer? You know that animation, right? God, it's 11:30. Oh my God, it's 11:30. That's why I'm getting tired. Alright, guys, we've been playing this thing for like 3 hours now. I am gonna go take care of my wife, make sure she's doing good, see if we're hungry, which we are. Yeah. Alrighty, guys, I shall see you later. Okay, this was a ton of fun though. So what do y'all think of a Killzone? It's a game, technically. I love this game, but it's not even 2004 good. Yeah, it's not 2004 good. If this game came out in like 2000, it would be impressive. Like 2000 exactly, it would be crazy impressive. But by 2004, like the just lack of atmosphere, the awful writing, like borderline offensive characters, like weird, kind of not great combat, terrible AI, like none of that. It's just not good. You know, games were better than this in 2004. And it's kind of crazy that the internet has almost like collectively gaslit themselves into thinking that Killzone was better than it was. Because it's like, it's not, like, it's fun. Don't get me wrong, it's fun, but let's not pretend that Killzone is this lost gem, because it's definitely not a gem. It's like a rock. Yeah, that's what I envisioned. The only Chief would pick them up. Gotcha. And no randomization, lest you incur the wrath of the pros. I'd say armor lock. Gotcha. Okay. Huh. Maybe then when you play as Master Chief, each stage has weapon spawns on it. Like, it would probably be like a crazy amount of work, but every stage would have weapons that are predetermined, and they like the battle rifle is here. Maybe if you guys remember, probably my favorite Smash Bros stage is I think it's Hyrule Temple. I forgot what it is. It's the Legend of Zelda stage, the one that's floating in the sky, with the floating with the like dangerous island that's really hard to get to underneath the stage. you'd probably have like the rocket launcher on that like dangerous island that's hard to jump to, right? Just like stuff like that. I'm thinking out loud right now. But okay, yeah, Andrew, you got my mind racing right now with ideas. That's a fantastic idea of how to make like Master Chief feel fleshed out in Smash Bros. As you try to emulate the like picking up weapons, remembering weapon spawns. Yeah, Hyrule Castle, that was it. Thank you, thank you. Okay, guys. Yeah, what's your favorite Sonic voice actor? Just wondering. It is Ryan Drummond. He is my absolute favorite. All right, guys, I shall